I've been very blessed to be successful in the network marketing industry for well over 30 years. And going back to when I first got started, I was going through the phases that you were going to go through if you're going to become a successful entrepreneur. The first thing we do is we get satiated. We get either bored or just we're in a place of being in a comfort zone and just not being satisfied with what we're being offered. Then we get to the second step of being dissatisfied. When we become psychologically dissatisfied with something, then we're ready to go on to the third step, is where we hit our breaking point, where we just can't take it anymore. Something's got to give. Now, many of you are at that point. You're at that breaking point, or you're close to it. You're at the second or third step. But what's going to get you to the fourth step, which is having a moment of insight? See, we do a lot of trainings all year long, and they're great. They teach you how to invite, present, close, train, promote. We teach you leadership development skills. We teach you personal development. What we do all year long in training is amazing, but this event, A View from the Edge, is where more people have that moment of insight so they can get to the fifth and final step, which is taking massive action towards their objective. And I'm telling you right now, until you have your moment of insight, you're never going to get to the fifth step. And without the fifth step, you're never going to have things in your life change. So why is this event different? Imagine you're watching your favorite TV show. And it's a series, and there's like 13 or 14 episodes in the season. But what if each and every episode was a completely different setup with different characters? Maybe the same actor, the same lead actor, but doing something different. So at A View from the Edge, I'm going to come out and talk to you as a farmer. Because a farmer doesn't plant seeds in the ground and then have a crop a week and a half later. Most of you are so focused on instant results because you've been in a job for so long where you get instant results. You need to think more like a farmer. But then the second chapter, if you will, is completely different. Now I'm going to be talking to you maybe as a gambler playing poker. And we're going to talk about risk versus reward. We're going to talk about what it takes to find aces on your team. Then that scene's over and we go to something totally different. My point is this. Over the course of the full weekend, I'm going to hit you from so many angles, so each and every person will have your moment of insight. And once you have that moment of insight, then right there, regardless of what you paid to get to the event, no matter how much the event itself costs your travel, once you have your moment of insight, then you've gotten everything you've paid for and more. But that's just the beginning. Okay, that's the reason for you to come through. But there's more reasons than that, guys. Listen, think about this for a minute. Little kids, if you put them in front of a television set and they watch, there's so many different shows now that entertain and educate at the same time. But when I was a little kid, the first one ever came along, which was called Sesame Street. Certainly you've heard of that. Where instead of letting the TV babysit your child, which is what a lot of parents do, now, instead of them just watching crazy stuff or garbage or things that are scaring them or whatever the case might be, you're putting them in front of a show that educates them and entertains them at the same time, and they love it. Now, here's the thing. The kid is not going, the 3-year-old is not going, hey, Mom, I want to learn something, so put me in front of Sesame Street. All the little kid knows is they love Big Bird and Arnie or whatever, whoever's on the show. It's been a while since I've watched it. But they just know they love watching it. That's what we're going to do at A View from the Edge. By the way, if it works for kids, why wouldn't it work for adults? Come on into the show and let me entertain you for a couple of days. And here's the point. The kids don't know the education is going on, but it's going on. So that's what I'm going to be doing with you. A lot of you will come to this event. You won't take hardly any notes, but the information will stick with you better than any training you've ever been to. And here's the point. If you don't remember the points of the training, you won't implement them. And if you don't implement them, then every dime you paid for that training was flushed down the toilet because there's going to be no change. See, by you coming to A View from the Edge, the tagline of this event is life will never be the same. And that's what it's all about. You get the information, you remember the information so you can take action on the information. Now, coming to the event by yourself will definitely be valuable because, again, if all you do is have your moment of insight and take action, start marching towards your goals, that's great. But you know it's way better? Going through that and having people on your team with you so they have their moment of insights and they get their motivation and inspiration. So instead of you going on the event and adding customers and adding agents, you and your team are multiplying. That's what it's really all about. And here's what's great about this. So one of the characters we've done over 100 characters over the year, and one of the characters is a golfer. And I'll tell you right now, the basic premise of the golfer is no matter what happens on the course, no matter what, whether the wind is blowing, whether you hit a good shot, a bad shot, you've got to remain calm and cool. You either control your emotions or your emotions control you. Have you ever seen someone get pissed off and throw their club into a tree or into the lake or whatever the case might be? They say golf doesn't build character, it exposes it. So as we're teaching people all this stuff, you're going to have someone on your team, they're going to be having an emotional temper tantrum, and all you have to say to them is, hey, the golfer, you're having a golfer day right now. Remember the golfer? And they're like, oh yeah. See, if there hadn't been the event, it would be much longer. Maybe it would take you 30 minutes to an hour to get them back in the right frame of mind. But when they've gone through all you have to say is the golfer. All you have to say is the farmer. All you have to say is the gambler, and it brings them right back. So your ability to manage your people, your time on managing is cut down dramatically so you can do the number one income creating activity, which is inviting and presenting. How can you invite and present to your own prospects if you're always managing everybody else? This event, more than anything else, if you get a lot of people to the event, allows you to manage your team much more easily and stay in the highest income producing activities on a consistent basis. So again, wrapping this up, I'll share this with you. I am here not only to teach and educate you, but to really get you emotionally involved in your business, and to be honest with you, get you emotionally involved in your life. I learned a long time ago, whether it be studying psychology, reading books, going to seminars, that people remember things the most. They have their greatest life lessons. They have their biggest actual breakthroughs that lead to transformation when they learn something during a period of peak emotion. So a lot of this event is funny, because laughter definitely keeps people in the game and keeps their attention. I'll make you laugh a lot at this event, but more importantly, there are going to be a few moments of peak intense emotion. The best way I could put it is I'm going to hold up a mirror to you at a certain point in the event, and while there may be a couple thousand people in the arena around you and the lights are out, and I'm holding up this mirror, it's just you and me, and all I'm doing is holding up the mirror for you so you can look in the mirror and look at what you're doing. The bottom line is the number one thing that's holding you back from being a Crown Royale, from being an incredibly happy person, from being a multimillionaire, the number one thing holding you back is you. I know you probably don't want to hear that. I know years ago I didn't want to hear it. So again, my job in many ways is to get you to an emotional peak, hold up the mirror, let you have your moment of truth. So therefore you have the kind of breakthrough that you need to go on and living your life the way that God intended you to live it, to be a true champion. Who wants your kids to worship sports heroes and movie stars? Wouldn't you want your kids to look at you as their hero? And there's no reason why that can't be the case, but you've got to get rid of all your garbage. You've got to get rid of all the internal barriers that are holding you back, and I promise you, nothing I can possibly do will get rid of those better, point them out, and have you get rid of them yourself than a view from the edge. So join me for this weekend. I promise you, if you do, life will never be the same.